We tend to think of our gardens as being two-dimensional, but this is maybe an exaggeration. But why don't we introduce a little bit of variety so we have slightly higher areas, lower areas, and even in a small space that immediately gives us a whole set of different microclimates, and you can really maximize the diversity of the planting by just changing the levels a little bit. So we're working with a whole range of plants, so native British coastal plants, other native British wildflowers, but also plants from dry, hot places from other countries. And we've got a lot of perennials, a lot of subshrubs, woody subshrubs, but we also have our annuals in here. And one of my favorites is the Californian Poppy. We have a purple flowered form called Purple Gleam, and it's just a lovely shimmery purple pink in amongst everything in grey-green leaves. And of course that will seed itself around and find its own places in the future.
This garden has really been inspired by the west coast of Scotland. The geology of that whole area is so different and varied, but it's sandstone, and that sandstone's coming out the sea vertically in layers. So we get these lovely pockets where it's weathered slightly and there's little pockets for planting in that. So we've been really inspired by that first line of defense, that first kind of planting zone. We have seagrass at the front of the garden, which is the UK's, well, the only flowering plant in the ocean. It's very different to seaweeds. And we brought the concept of bringing back lost biodiversity into this garden by bringing in some rare British plants. So here we have Carex silena, which is only found in Scotland. Over there we have a Carex corderiza, which has got these lovely string-like growths over the boggy section of our garden. These plants would have been much more widespread, but now that is only found in 3 locations, all of which are in Scotland.
I think having a gravel garden always reads coastal to me. So we've used a gravel mulch around our planting, which is great for suppressing weeds and regulating moisture in the soil. And then within that, you can then plant plants that are fairly drought tolerant, that are often needed by the coast. We have wallflowers that grow naturally around the coast. We have fleabane, and we also have lovely verbascum that really like that dry environment and seed themselves down and form a really naturalistic look.
We try and reference materials that are already kind of in the setting, and I think that's really important to make a garden feel as if it belongs in the space. We've gone for sheet pile, rusted reclaimed sheet pile. We've gone for aged deck boards that were once used as cedar fences. We've gone for a natural stone, and we've kept the palette quite refined and quite simple. The boundary to our garden is quite a simple in one way and complicated in another. So it's a set of gabion cages, which we see a lot on the coast, used as sea defences. But we've layered them up with reclaimed house brick, roof tile, some different types of natural stone. And then in the top, we've got Norfolk waterreed, which was harvested just a mile from where we work.
The design of the gabions is really to imitate the coastal cliffs, and we used the patterns in the rock layers in the cliff face, and we tried to replicate that here. So really just kind of bringing those nods to the coastal area.